Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AM Shift podcast. We are back with episode three. And Aiden, we have some stuff to get to this week from
Oh yeah.
Olympics to our teams and some ideas that we want to get through on the show. So let's hit it off right on the bat. Let's go with what we got planned for this show in the future. Take it away. What do you got?
Yes, obviously both of us being kind of blue collar workers, do a lot of driving, got a lot of ideas. So
Indeed.
yeah, let's hash them out live. Why not? First one I was thinking of was just kind of maybe like a mini game segment, something like that. Like we used to play like the can you go 1 to 99 with jerseys? Can you
Yeah.
go like piggybacking off guys' names or whatever, something like that, or just do like a trivia segment. I think that'd be pretty cool. Obviously, we don't really have the following now, but maybe once we start to build up a following, we get a little participation in there, some submitted questions. That's kind of just the
Of
vision
course.
I have for that. Um, Kind of loop that in with the random player segment, I guess, at the end of the show. That'll be like our for all you MSG fans. It'll be like our Cadillac trivia section. Um,
Right.
but the other one, you mentioned it when I said I wanted to talk about like some of these ideas. This was your idea. Kind of, we got a bunch of friends with a bunch of different fan bases,
We do.
um, and I know they'd love to see us talking about their teams because we kind of text them all the time, ripping on them a bit. But maybe we get some honest reactions to how they're playing
Yep.
and what their thoughts are. So maybe some inspired talking points from the boys, and kind of just take it from there and run with it.
Yeah, I mean, we have fans that from the Edmonton Oilers to the Buffalo Sabres to the New Jersey Devils. So, I mean, we have a lot of differing opinions, and it only matters so much when it comes from a rival fan base. You know, we're Ranger fans and Islander fans for the most part amongst a lot of our direct friend group, but it's nice that we have a little bit of diversity when it comes to other fan bases. So I'd be really interested to see because I mean I can rip on Evan Bouchard for how much he turns over the puck, but we have a close friend who he sees it firsthand most most nights, and we have a depressed Buffalo Sabres fan who I'm sure has many things to say about the Pagula family
Oh yeah.
and, and how that team's run. But for the minigame stuff, I think something I'd like to do next show would be that 1 to 99 in jersey numbers, maybe three strikes if we can't think of something, one of them, and it kind of goes from there. So I think that'd be really cool ideas to incorporate into the future of the show. Give it a little bit of a wackadoo segment at the end. That'd be pretty cool.
That's something I was kind of thinking about. Like, I'm gonna have a little fun with it. I know we're mostly like the news side of it, kind of what's going on, what's happening around the league, but
Yeah,
if it- why not test our knowledge a little bit? The jersey numbers, I feel like we'll nail that. We'll
maybe.
kind of get the feet wet with the segment, test the waters, but um, not like trivia, especially like there's just random facts that we'll just be talking, doing whatever, not even on the show, but like this random guy will come up and we'll just rattle off his whole career, kind of run down for no reason. Like there's no reason we should know that, but we just do. So
Yeah, I'd like to do like the blind rankings thing where you get the five
too,
names or five cities or some shit like that. You know, we
build
can
a
we
team on a
can
budget, like whatever. Yeah.
yeah, build team. That'd be pretty good, actually. That's a good one too. So yeah, I mean, those are all different ideas, and obviously, it's something we want to share with people who view is like those are the things that we're looking towards, and obviously, when we get that following, I mean, they're going to want to see some certain things that we do, and I think that's something that we could definitely incorporate into the back half of the show. I mean, we're not always going to have news if we're doing this every week. There's not always going to be something newsworthy. There definitely is, particularly the Olympics this week that we'll get to, but in the future, I'm sure that the breaks that teams have and Christmas and so on and so forth, there's going to be times where we can definitely insert a couple of those. So yeah, no, I think those are all great ideas that we ran through. But I guess we'll take it away to the main part of the show. Your Islanders, a little bit of a
Sure.
hot streak. What do you got?
It's been a little strange. I mean, they're doing kind of what people maybe thought they, I mean, maybe not outside the fan base, but what I thought they might do. They might be a streaky team all season. Um, I see them around that 500 mark. They just went 6-1 on a road trip, and then they started another homestand, like 1-5-1, whatever it was. Or no, it was something like that. It was not good. One win until they beat Tampa last night. But No, they're a streaky team. They're going to be streaky, dealing with a couple massive injuries that are going to really shake things up, as well as a couple kind of shorter term injuries. But there's that point of the season where guys are starting to drop, and you're trying to see who's going to fill those holes, who's going to kind of take over and kind of lead the depth part of the team with Pajot being out.
Yeah.
That one's a big one. Obviously, the big two are Palmieri and Romanov. The Romy news, 5 to 6 months. Palmieri's, I mean, they're both done for the season, but two devastating injuries. Palmieri, probably the greatest assist I've ever seen.
Yeah, I want
Torn
to touch on
ACL,
that a
no
little bit
problem.
because that is probably going to be the highlight of the month.
It's
That
the
was
highlight of the
crazy.
season for me so far. Like,
It's insane. If that's not a testament to how scrappy and how much the Isles have played well this year, if that's not like a microcosm, I don't know what is because
yeah,
that was awesome.
he's just, I mean, he kind of, he's one of the leaders on the team. There's a reason he wears an A. Um, I don't know if he was in that game, but he has in the past.
Yeah.
Still, he's a veteran guy. He's been there. He knows kind of what it takes, what to do. But no, he obviously went down hard. It was a tough collision. Went down real awkward. Came out that it was ACL. So obviously, long rehab process. A guy his age, you don't really know the long-term effects of it. Kind of scared as to what that might be, but he's got to take care of himself. So I'm sure he'll be back probably next season. I did look at the calendar too. I scouted it out. It said 6 to 8 months. Theoretically, they go on a run, they make the finals. He could play.
Right.
So we'll see.
It's always
We'll
that.
see. We'll see. A guy like him, he'd rush back for that 100%. Not saying we're going to the finals, but
Hey,
there's a
man,
chance.
you
There's a
never
chance.
know. Never
Um,
know.
but no, I mean, moments like this kind of galvanize a team. You could see kind of what they're going to do, kind of what their outlook is versus what their mentality is. Obviously, the outlook maybe starting to look a little bit more kind of grim. Not
Mm.
really too optimistic for most of the fan base with those injuries. Um, but let's see how they react. I mean, they played a great game against Tampa last night. They've been playing great games, honestly. The effort's been there. They're out shooting teams like crazy. And you see Patrick Waugh talking about it in all the post-game interviews. He likes the effort. He likes to compete. They're just not getting the results. They're kind of slipping back into that lack of scoring right now. I'd be concerned if they weren't getting the chances. It's not like they're not getting chances. I'm sitting there watching games, thinking like how, I mean, we got goalied a couple times. Logan Thompson stood in his head in that Caps game.
Yep.
Um, but we're out shooting teams, we're out chancing teams. 5-on-5 play looks great. Only thing I'm concerned about right now is kind of the power play. Um,
Oof.
Same thing though, like they're getting their chances. Their zone entries have been cleaner. They had probably the worst power play I've ever seen last night against Tampa. Where I mean, credit to Tampa too. I've never seen a team move the puck that quick down a guy. It was honestly insane to watch. Their other power plays from that game looked pretty good. Didn't get rewarded, but it's there's new looks. Like you could see it, and they're experimenting. It's kind of one of those transition years away from that Lamoriello era, like I've been saying. And the special teams, obviously, you like to see the power play score some goals, and they came out hot. They looked like a normal power play to start, but they're kind of sinking back in. But the looks are there. They love that bumper look to Horvat. They love that goal line play. It was Palmieri on the goal line, but now we'll see who takes his spot. I'd like to maybe see Cal Ritchie get a chance there. I think he
Yeah.
could thrive in a setup role like that.
Has he been playing center?
Yes, yeah, center. I mean,
That's interesting.
he's kind of they're kind of using him as like a Swiss Army knife almost in that depth role. He's
Hmm.
had a pretty consistent shifts with the same guys. He's kind of settling in more. Um, and obviously that big trade for Brock, who's making his return tomorrow night, big game. Gonna be I might cry to be honest with you.
Well, you're gonna be there, so
Yeah,
we'll see.
exactly.
It won't
But
be on film.
no, he came in with that trade and you kind of expect him to be this big point scoring guy. His comparisons, people are saying like Patrice Bergeron, which he could score, but that wasn't really his role. He was that two-way guy. He's going to defend hard, and that's what Richie's been saying in his interviews. That's what he's working on, and that's what he's showing on the ice too. So all good there. I love his effort. Kind of the same thing with Heineman. Obviously, Heineman's got that scoring touch right now, and he's playing great on Horvat's wing. I love that pairing, natural chemistry there. He's got a little bromance going with Simon Holmstrom, who's kind of falling off the score sheet a little bit, but he's
Well,
gonna
I kind of want to
punish them
ask
this
you.
season.
I kind of want to ask you. So, in the wake of these injuries, right? You got your Palmieri and you got your Pajot and whatnot. What a guy that you mentioned him, a guy that I would really like to see step up into that role would be Holmstrom. I feel like he's definitely got an all-around game to him. I mean, he's a great penalty killer and he's got pretty underrated shot in hands. I think if there's a player who needs to capitalize on a player like Paul Mary being out, it's probably Holmstrom.
Yeah, and he's a guy too that he's been relied on in the past. He's relied on heavily to kill penalties with Pajot, who's
Yeah.
unfortunately out. Penalty kill hasn't really looked that different because Palmieri's a killer too. Um, Granted, small sample size with both of them being out, but I haven't really
Mhm.
noticed any glaring differences. Maybe they're a little bit more careful, but other than that, not really anything. But yeah, Simon Holmstrom is a big chance for him.
Yeah.
Interesting to see though, they've been leaning a little bit more on Shabanov. Um,
He's been getting a little bit
Active,
like he's adjusted now. Like he's
it's
cooking a
interesting
bit.
because there's parts of the game like last night where he was I wouldn't say benched, but maybe not put out there as much. Um, Shifts were given to other guys like Holmstrom, who maybe have that trust of Wah and from the coaching staff currently. But Shabanov's skill, I think, maybe puts him over the edge in terms of playing with Heineman and Horvat. Maybe even getting some shifts with Barzell. But yeah, he looked good. He's been keeping up with Horvat. He set up Horvat beautifully on a nice goal last night,
Yes.
the first goal of the game. And his vision's there. You could see it. He's just smaller guy, shifty guy, great skating ability, great hands, great vision. So I think he's a great setup guy for Horvat, and I think that's what Wah sees in him, where he's going to keep Holmstrom in more of that checking role because it's more suited to his all-around game. He's more that kind of Cal Ritchie style.
Yeah, another question actually, since you brought up Shabanov, is Siplikov. I want to kind of get your thoughts because I felt like last year was a typical introductory season to the NHL for him, but it
Mhm.
seems like this year, I don't know if it's lack of ice time, which he probably is not getting much, but I'm curious to kind of hear what's going on with somebody that I expected to have 40 points this year, give or
Yeah,
take.
he's a guy that I was very optimistic about going into his second year. He looked good last year, playing physical. He's a big body.
Yeah.
To me, yeah, I mean, it's going to sound harsh. I just don't think he put the effort in the offseason because his skating hasn't really improved at all.
Mm.
Um, the effort's there. You can see he's trying to make the plays. He just looks a step slow all over the place, which is extremely unfortunate for a guy kind of his size and the excitement around him. Um, to be honest, I think the only reason he's in the lineup now is because of the injuries they're dealing with. I don't think a fully healthy Islander roster has Max Siplikov in the lineup
Mm.
at this moment. He's got to show a little bit more. I think he's kind of lost the trust of the coaching staff a little bit defensively. Um, but it's unfortunate. I mean, a guy his size, I mean, people say it about Engvall too. They just don't use their size. Where
Yeah.
Siplikov he's a little more physical. He throws his body around. He's been better with it recently. But a guy like him, you want to see him moving up the lineup, and this offseason kind of dropped him down in the lineup. Um,
Yeah. That's
yeah,
tough. I like him. I mean, you would see those highlights from him in the KHL, and he was just one of those commanding players where he was using his advantage, which is his size and his hands to get to the net. And like last year, you can kind of see it at times. He was making these like heads up plays and getting to the net. But I mean, I can't say I've watched his tape a ton this year, but it's pretty aware from his stats that there's something going on there, and it definitely has something to do with his lack of ice time, but it seems that maybe it was whatever he did in the offseason. It's tough. He's a good player, and I like to see him succeed.
yeah, and you mentioned the ice time too. That's the thing. It's not like he's being punished with the ice time. I think he's getting the ice time that he's shown his ability to kind of support. Like I don't think he warrants more ice time at the moment. He's got to kind of buckle down, do what he's got to do off the ice, whatever it is. Um, I'm not saying he's been bad. He just hasn't been he hasn't moved forward.
Yeah, stagnated, I guess, in a way.
Exactly.
But no, I mean, let's see now because now there's injuries throughout the lineup, and this is one of those times where guys can take an advantage of someone being out. And I think I mentioned Holmstrom, you agree? I mentioned Siplikov, you mentioned Shabanov. I mean, these are guys that we may see a bit of a hot streak or they start to get a little more bit more playing time, which hopefully, kind of I guess eases the how would you say loss of some of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, with at least for the time being with Peugeot out, I definitely look to Shabanov to be that guy. He's the guy I would keep my eye on the most.
Okay.
Um, when he comes back, I don't really think it's going to affect ice time that much. I think he'll stay on Horvat's wing unless, say, Cal Ritchie forces his hand or whatever it is. But yeah, for now, I'd say Max Shabanov is the guy to keep your eye on.
Okay. And I mean, let's go back to the farther end of the ice. Sorokin, you have him in our notes. What do you got for him?
It's been interesting. He played great last night. He's the reason they won that game. Tampa had a late push where, with the empty net, especially, I mean, the Islanders missed the empty net three times from
Ew.
center ice, which doesn't help. Got the win. That's all that
Nice.
matters. But no, I mean, the goal he gave up last night was pretty weak. You'd like to see him have his glove more on the post. It kind of just a bank shot from the corner. Like it just can't go in, plain and simple. Um, and I bet he'd be the first one to tell you that too. But no, he looked great otherwise. He's like I said, the reason they won that game. He held tall. They did outshoot them, but Tampa had some great quality looks at the end of the game, and Sorokin did his job, and that's what they need from him. They're going to be, I will say, I did think they were going to team that they would be a team this season that would give up a ton of shots, but it's not the case. They're defending well. Um, Sorokin's numbers haven't quite been there. I mean, he's been a little streaky too, but when he's on his game, the Islanders win games, and that's what they
Yeah.
need. So, I mean, luckily they found a gem and backup in David Riddick, which I didn't expect him to be this good. Good. I didn't know he'd be this good. But the confidence in the goaltending kind of goes a long way, and I think they have that right now. Obviously, they're not going to give up on Sorokin. The fans aren't going to give up on Sorokin, but he's been a little inconsistent to start. But I think we're starting to see him settle in, and games like last night show that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird. Like the Islanders, they get these reclamation projects in net, and they end up becoming a 1B goaltender. I
Yeah, so
mean,
Renner, Thomas
dude,
Greiss,
I was just gonna
Nabokov,
say,
even going way back.
dude, I mean, they get these guys who quote unquote failed somewhere else, and you bring them in. It seems that I don't know whether it's the size of the Long Island market, or maybe it has to do with the past coaching staffs and stuff like that, or the way they play. But I mean, these goaltenders, they come in and they end up playing very well. And I just want to touch on Sorokin, like you were mentioning. The thing with him is that the fans aren't going to give up on him, like you said, and people know what his ceiling is, and they know that that just kind of doesn't go away. He has his moments where he's a world beater, and then he has his moments like where he feels like you feel like you can't play him and you got to play Riddick. So I think patience would be a good thing to use for Sorokin.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, he's got the ability. He did it the what was it, 2 years ago? Literally the last two times they made the playoffs. He's the reason.
Right.
Like they don't get in with any other goalie.
Right.
So yeah, it's something that I think the fans that have thrown in the towel on him and are saying trade him, you don't just find franchise goaltenders like regularly like that. So I think it'd be foolish to give up on him this early,
Of
especially
course.
after signing a massive contract. So
Yeah.
I'd say keep him around. The team's on the rise. Why would you not stick with your goalie?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, there's definitely a case to be made to not giving up on him,
Yeah,
considering that contract just kicked in.
exactly.
But
And
any other
speaking
points on the Islanders you
No, I
got
just want
here?
to throw it over to the Rangers, kind of use the transition with
Okay.
to me outside looking in is Shesterkin and what kind of his workload is going to look like with the injury to Quick.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. We gassed him up on the last show. We were saying how well this guy plays, and I mean, it seems like they were managing him pretty well, where he was given those days of rest, and he would come back with this great performance. And you kind of saw him in that one game. I don't know if it was that Detroit game that we were talking about, or maybe it was one after that, but he had some type of a leg injury and he battled it out and played through. And usually at that age, you're still kind of like, what's the deal there? Is he all right? And
Was it
sure
from when he
enough,
got run? Didn't he get run in that game?
yes, he did. And he was down for a good minute. And it was like, ugh, that's not what you need. But he battled it out, and it was only until a few days later where they kind of decommissioned him. So it's interesting. And I mean, now Shesterkin's playing, he just played a back-to-back. I imagine he'll probably play the upcoming one they have this weekend. I think it's this weekend, I'm not sure. But I mean, the guy, Dylan Garand, that they got backing him up now, I don't really know if they got confidence in him. He didn't have the greatest preseason. You want to talk about a guy who stagnated in his, I guess, development. That's a prime example.
There's a
He
lot of hype around him too.
CHL goalie of the year, won a couple awards down in juniors, and he was one of those. I think he was a fourth round pick, and he definitely was on the rise pretty early, and he just has not really put things together. And I don't think it's going to be fixed by like a change of scenery. I mean, he's getting the starts in Hartford, but the team, he's just not really someone you want to just throw in there. It's tough.
Yeah, and I mean, goaltending is everything. I'm just interested to see how they manage to start getting with quick out, like you said, with the
Yeah.
confidence and Grand. But no, I mean, Shesterkin, he's looked great. If he plays like this, then why not just play him every night?
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, Shesty really hasn't looked too off. I mean, this entire season. I mean, granted, the team's not been the best in front of him on most nights, and yet most games he's definitely far from the problem. So, yeah, I'd really like to see what it is going forward because they don't pay him $11.5 million for not playing 50 games. He's
yeah,
probably going to hit close to 70 this year, I'd
probably.
say.
And
Yeah.
and the other big news from the Rangers, another injury they're dealing with now. It's Adam Fox, the star blue liner. Um, he got hit at first. I thought it was kind of a I don't want to say a dirty hit. It was a heavy hit though.
Heavy.
Um, it looked like his arm, I think, or his wrist or something like that. Obviously, the NHL being the NHL, it's above the waist. They're just saying upper body. But I mean, yeah, I guess you can talk to kind of who's going to fill that role, what this means for a guy like Vlad Gavrikov, what maybe like Robertson could benefit from this. Um,
Hmm.
I just kind of what the decor looks like and what you expect from them going forward without Fox.
Right. I mean, it's a tough one because if anybody really needed to have a good season to change the reputation around their name, it was Adam Fox, and he was doing just that this season. Basically, point per game, playing a lot. Gavrikov, new signing for him. They were playing fantastic together. And the hit, like you said, I didn't find obviously not dirty. I mean, that's just a forechecking hit, but that hit was
It's
you
a heck
that's like a game one of the playoff type of hit. That was like
of
you're gonna feel this in game seven, you know, that was a heavy one. So it sucks, man. There's really no way to replace Adam Fox. He's your best defenseman, easily top 10, if not top five in the league, most nights for a defenseman. He is everything that the team needs more of, which is puck moving defenseman. And I'm not really seeing that from much other guys on the back end. And you want to talk about like who's going to step up. Scott Morrow is obviously the one people look at because he's kind of the same player, if you will. But they haven't really showcased him or given him the reins to not only the power play, but just more minutes in general. They threw Schneider up there with Gavrikov, and they looked really good against the Stars. So I guess they're just going to keep rolling with that until it doesn't work. So Robertson and Morrow were a pairing. They were fine. I didn't really see a problem with anybody last night. It was a good team win. I guess we need a little bit more sample size with Fox being out, but it's definitely a good start given the injury just happened. So it's gonna be tough. I really don't know. It's a lot of wait and see with this team, right?
Yeah, do you think it's more like kind of patchwork, or it's more they're looking for something stable, or do you think they're just trying to buy time until he's healthy?
Yeah, I mean they give him a week to week basis for the injury, so I would give that minimum 2 to 4 weeks time. That's kind of my like a month at the latest. We should hopefully see him back if it's week to week. Like you said, it's an arm injury, and I don't really know how they're gonna kind of patch that in. It seems I've kind of always said this about the Rangers this season is that the problems aren't going to be solved by bringing people in from the outside. It's going to be solved in-house. The answers are already here. It's just a matter of can the players do that? Schneider needs to just obviously be more offensive. Morrow needs to take a step. We've already seen a guy like Robertson played great for having been drafted 7+ years ago. I mean, these are the problems that need to be fixed by these guys, and they're not going to find answers outside. It's all right in front of them. So it's just a matter of who can play the best, given that your 25-minute defenseman is now gone. It's a huge loss. There's really no other way to
Mm.
you can't really make up for it. It's just a matter of can you do what you can given the time length of the injury.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see what they do. Obviously, a guy like that, you're gonna miss him. The other guy that's been kind of coming up a lot, I know from talking Rangers with you, you seem pretty excited about Gabe Perreault again. It's tearing
Yeah.
it up on the AHL. If you want to kind of talk to that and see, kind of, do we see him again at some point this season? It's something that will take an injury to get him back up, or is he going to kind of play his way back onto the main roster?
Yeah, I feel like at this point it's going to take another injury. They've been kind of doing a revolving door of a third liner so far this year. We're seeing Brett Berard. He's been playing pretty good. I like to see him play more. I think every fan would like to see him play more. So I think it would take another injury, most likely, to see him come up or somebody's game. Like we saw Parsonen get sent down and they brought up Berard instead to fill in that third line role. And I think if a guy like Brodzinski goes down or Sherry's not playing, we could probably see Pro come up. I mean, he's point per game right now in the AHL, or at least 1 or 2 points off of that. That's kind of exactly what you want to see for somebody in their first year pro. And whether he's going to get called up in a month from now, in a week from now, I think he's definitely deserving of it. And I think hopefully next time he's just kind of right now he's putting in an exclamation point on he's for real. Like he needs to be playing. And I hope that the next time he comes up, he's actually given the chance to play some of those top minutes with those top guys. So I think I said it last time. Take it low and slow with these guys. It's gonna come, and the fact that we're still seeing it, it's not like him coming up for 2 weeks hurt him, but him going back down, he's picking up right where he left off before the call up. So
Mhm.
I think it's just a matter of I just wanted to emphasize just how good he's still playing, regardless of where he's been, which is really encouraging. That's kind of all you can ask for.
It's all about player development,
Yeah,
build for the future. Um, Another thing, kind of special teams with this team right now. What do you
yeah,
think? I know you mentioned they're running. Did you say it was a five forward group on the power play?
yeah. It was not
Is that
not looking
because of
too
the injury
good.
to Fox, you think, or is it? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's they tried to use Panarin as a quarterback, I think, primarily. He does facilitate a lot of the movement coming from the left side, I would say on the power play, but without Fox there, you're just missing that lateral movement on the blue line and just that reliance of there's always somebody back there, whether it's the other team throwing it out of the zone or someone to back pass it to. I don't really see it from the five forward group. I know that they want to see Trocheck maybe on PP1 a little more, but I like the way Cooley's looked with the man advantage. I mean, he tied it 6-on-5, granted, last night against the Stars, but he's obviously been looking good on a power play spot. So I just I don't really know. They don't really, like I said with Scott Morrow, they're not really giving him the chance to play on that PP1. They're just like, I don't know what you're going to kind of do with it. They had 4 minutes of a power play to do anything against the Stars last night, and they didn't do a damn thing. It looked good, kind of, but it's like, what are you guys doing with this power play? Like, you gotta get this thing going. They just started scoring a bit more 5-on-5. Let's drive it home on the special teams. Let's get it on the power play. That's really all I got for power play because it's kind of hard to watch. We're going back to early 2010s Rangers, and if any Ranger fan will remember, it's almost like we wanted to deny the power play because of that's how bad it was, and it's
Dipping into last year's Islanders.
yeah, I was like, we're getting to that point where it's like, I don't think we've won it. I think we're too used to how the power play was clicking 2 years and 3 years ago, where it was automatic. But I was like, Fox being out, it's not really clicking. Let's just let's figure something out before we get excited about a power play.
Yeah. Anything else on the Rangers that kind of caught your eye recently?
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of it. The team is playing the same. I think it's kind of like the Islanders a little bit. I mean, the streaks I would say are a little bit different. Ours been more up and down, zigzag. Yours was way high, way low, way high. So I think both of us can just look for a little more consistency out of our teams, and I mean, hopefully we get that coming into the Christmas months and then the winter months. So, and that will move us on to our next topic when we come back from break, which will be the playoff outlook at Thanksgiving, rather. And we'll be right back on the AM shift. Welcome back to the AM shift. Let's get into the Thanksgiving break playoff outlook for the league. Right now, it's a bit of a cluster fuck in the Eastern Conference with a lot of teams above 500 and that wild card changing every day. Aiden, let's dissect this. What is going on in the Eastern Conference? Because we've seen some teams fall out and some teams go up. What do you got?
Yeah, it seems like every night if you don't get at least a point, you're dropping two, three spots in the standings. Tampa Bay completely revived their season.
Yeah, right?
I mean, it's Tampa Bay, not that they're ever really dead, but they went on an absolute tear. Now they're top of the division. Ottawa's right there, number two, tied with Detroit at number three. Those are two exciting young teams. I'd love to see them make the playoffs. I think they'd be fun to watch. Then moving to the Metro, the top three, Carolina, Washington, Jersey, all within a point. And then you move 2 points below that. Those are the bottom two wild cards, Pittsburgh, Philly. And then right outside, there's our Islanders and our Rangers, with Boston, Montreal, Columbus, all within that kind of 3 points of the bottom spot.
It's
So
crazy.
it's every single night. If you're not winning games, you lose two in a row, you find yourself maybe 10th in the division. It's it's tough. The East is a bloodbath right now, and it's just who can string together 3 wins in a row and kind of solidify a spot for maybe like a week, and then just go from there. That seems to be what the recipe is right now in the East. Um, yeah, division wise, obviously didn't expect this from Florida. Buffalo was Buffalo.
Yeah, we got to touch
Um,
on Florida a little bit.
yeah, Toronto. I selfishly kind of love seeing this from Toronto. It, it's it's interesting to watch. I mean, they're a team that's not too different. Obviously, no Mitch Marner this year, but I really didn't think that would have this kind of effect on. They just have no speed. They're not really playing with any sort of heart from what it looks like. Um, it's It's interesting. The East is constantly it's just falling apart one night, and then teams are building themselves back up, and then they're falling apart the next night. It's a bloodbath right now, and Tampa just kind of sits there, and they're just Tampa Bay. Like they're the only team I could say is kind of. I mean, I throw Carolina in there too, but everyone else, it's kind of one bad week away from disaster.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of just looking at these standings up and down, at least for the East, and you look at a team like Tampa, right, who's 8-2-0 in their last 10, and then you kind of go down and you look at a team like Montreal, who's 3-6-1 in their last 10, and they're still 13-9-3. That just kind of shows how good they started off
Yeah,
and how bad Tampa started off the season. And I really want to touch on Florida and Toronto because I mean, you could obviously tell that Florida kind of does this every year, it seems like, since they did that first Stanley Cup berth where they were just fighting every game of the season. And I think it might be a little different this year. The Barkov injury obviously has an effect, and I think it's thrown their entire lineup into a bit of a flux. So I kind of just want to see in a month's time if this is for real from them. I mean, they're only what four, they're 5-5-0 in their last 10, and they're on a 3-game losing streak. I mean, a 3-game winning streak, like you said, could put you right back into the conversation. So that's just a team that it really has to stop the bleeding right now because it could get bad very soon.
yeah. It's to be honest, there's times I don't even know what to say about the East because like teams
Yeah.
like Boston didn't expect that. Teams like honestly Philly didn't expect them to be up there. Pittsburgh, I saw them falling off. The Capitals, I didn't think they'd be up there. They're 8-1-1 and on a 5-game win streak. I mean, like it's just bizarre right now in the East. But I mean, it's been that way for maybe like 2, 3 years now. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, then I kind of want to move into what my favorite division to watch right now is. It's the Central. Got Colorado, Dallas, Minnesota leading the way up top. Colorado, I mean, at this point, I would confidently hand them the cup right now and be like, "You guys
Yeah,
got
they've
this.
won the
Nobody's
in-season
gonna take
cup.
it from you." They have one loss in regulation through 26 games. It's insane.
Let's
Not
let's
even
just
in the last
mention
10. Like,
let's mention the fact that they have the most power play opportunities out of any team in the league. Just saying. So I don't like that, but continue.
yeah, I mean, maybe that does play a factor, but still, like, only one loss in regulation
Yeah, no,
through
that
26
is
games
crazy.
is absurd. They're outscoring team. They have plus 50 goal differential.
It's
They're
crazy.
they're unbelievable. They haven't lost in regulation at home. Like that's a playoff team. I mean, obviously they're gonna
It's
compete for the President's Trophy, but
freaking wild.
um, Dallas kind of the same deal. Maybe 5 losses in regulation, so obviously they're gonna miss the playoffs if that's the case. But no, that they're Dallas. This is gonna be 1 and 2 the entire time in the Central. Dallas, Colorado. I'd love to see them meet in the playoffs. Hopefully a conference final. I think that'd be an unreal series. The way the standings work, I don't think that'd be the case. Um, Minnesota has been on a tear. They're 8-0-2 in their last 10. Like they're sneaky. And I think a lot
Yeah.
of that goes to Wallstedt and net.
Oh
He's been
man.
unbelievable. Um,
Unreal.
and then
Great
obviously
fantasy pickup if anybody has not done that by now.
to mention our
Get
Oiler
him.
fan, our Oiler fan buddy, he's I've seen a lot of Oiler fans online talking about how they should have drafted Wallstedt.
Oof.
Um,
Yep.
people were saying like this is the future. This kid is it. And they went elsewhere. And obviously, back-to-back Cup final runs, sure, maybe that's justified. But I, I mean, that this kid is just unbelievable right
Well,
now.
so I was watching their game last night. The Oilers were playing, obviously, the Wild, and Bob Stauffer was saying in the intermission that he was just kind of discussing like Jesper Wallstedt like going into the draft and that he's a big guy and like teams just had their doubts about him, whether it was just his size that was kind of getting him there. And he kind of was just saying like, look, like this is obviously a goaltender in the Ken Holland era of the Oilers that they could have had. They absolutely could have had him. I don't really know who they went with instead. I think it was Xavier Bourgault or somebody like that. I'm trying to remember the names. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, but I mean, that's just a crazy happenstance because now Minnesota has two prime goaltenders. Gustafson's great, Wallsted's great, and it's a little bit of like Boston from a couple years ago where they had that Swayman Ullmark and how I mean, as good as that can be for a team, it can almost kind of be your downfall in the end, right? Because it's like you get into that playoff round, say Gustafson
Yeah.
starts,
Who's gonna play?
right? Say Gustafson starts and he loses the first two games, and then like you know, or maybe he wins one game and looks like shaky other. It's like, when do you go to Wallstead, right? It's or you start with Wallstead, like when do you go to Gustafson? So
Yeah.
it could be your downfall, but I mean that's just a team that's clicking on all cylinders
Yeah, I mean they're obviously one of my favorite teams to watch. I mean, all
easily.
three of those teams. I love watching all three of those teams, especially when they're playing each other. Um, but it's that division's going to be crazy for the top three spots, kind of coming down the stretch.
Wild.
Um, and then moving right along to the Pacific, probably what I would say might on the outside look like the weakest division right now. Uh,
Probably.
but you got probably the most fun team to watch right now in Anaheim, outside of
Yeah.
Colorado. They've been unbelievable. Just the young talent kind of led by Leo Carlson, Mason McTavish. These kids are kind of growing up. They're the big boys now. Like they're the main names in the game. Right up there with Vegas. LA is still hanging around up there in the third spot, but right on their heels. Did not think I'd be saying this, and it's all thanks to Macklin Celebrini. You got the San Jose Sharks in the first wild card,
It's crazy.
um, up there with the Kraken. Like Gary Bettman probably loves this. You get the Kraken, the Mammoth are not too far behind. Chicago's right there. So yeah, I love watching Bedard. I love watching Celebrini right now, and they're the reason these teams are gonna be fighting for a wild card spot. And I think one of them gets in at the end of the season if all stays this way. I mean, I think Edmonton eventually gets in. I think Winnipeg gets in, but Utah, Chicago, Seattle, San Jose, I think one of them is getting in, and it's going to be in that wild card spot.
Yeah, I mean, you could see Winnipeg's clearly suffering from not having Connor Hellebuck every night. And one thing I'm kind of noticing a bit of a trend here, a bit of a theme, is that the loser point for losing an overtime or shootout is going a long way in the West. Look at
Yeah,
some of these teams. I mean, Blackhawks, six overtime losses, Kraken, six overtime losses, and Vegas, eight overtime
yeah.
losses.
LA's got seven.
I mean, and you look at the East, I mean, some teams are not even close to that, and they're in a playoff spot. I mean, it's going a long way in this. So these are close games. There are probably a lot of interdivisional games here that are going
Even
close.
with the thing with St. Louis too, like obviously they look terrible this season, but
They're
they've
right
got
there.
seven points just off of overtime losses.
It's crazy.
If they didn't have that, they'd be bottom of the league.
It's wild. I mean, these are like that every point matters to these teams right now, and it's crazy. I don't I don't mind if a player 10 seconds left skates all the way down behind his net and rags it for the remaining time. I mean, every point matters, so
Yeah.
it's interesting. I feel like, people say at this point of the season, can you really determine that they're a playoff team? Like obviously there are those candidates like your Colorados, but can you really count out can you even count out the Oilers right now? I mean, they're right
Oh,
there.
I think the Oilers get in.
Right. Can you count out the Winnipeg Jets? I don't know. Hellebuck comes back. They could go on a run there. I mean,
Yeah.
clearly they're missing him.
Florida,
So it's
Florida's the bottom of the East right now. Can you count them out? Like,
probably not.
oh.
It's like, I don't know who to count out. And I don't want to like say the wrong thing because it could be wrong in 2 weeks' time or in
Yeah, I mean,
5 months' time.
going through it right now, just quick, I guess, quick impressions of who I think does not get in. I do think Boston's going
Calgary.
to fall off. I don't know if Columbus gets in. Buffalo's not getting in. Everyone else I think competes in the East. Um, look into the West. Of those four I mentioned that are going to be fighting, I think the most likely to fall off would be Seattle, just because they don't really
It's
have
their
that
depth.
star power.
Yeah,
They're rolling with a bunch of like second lines. I don't really think they
if
have
that.
the star power to get it done. So I think of those four I named earlier, I think they're kind of the weak link. Um, but I mean, obviously, you can make a case for all those teams. Any team fighting for a wild card spot, you can make a case of why they'd get in and why they'd miss. Um, Edmonton, I think, gets in. Winnipeg, I think, gets in. And then St. Louis, Vancouver, Nashville, Calgary, I think you can count them all out.
Yeah. Well, let's touch on one of those teams that we mentioned, the Oilers. Obviously, they need a little bit of help. I think if you watch games, yeah, there's been struggles on offense, but I think the source of their problems goes right back to where it's always been, and that's been in net. And you wrote this down in our notes. I mean, Jordan Bennington, that was kind of a little bit of a rumor last year coming off of Four
Mhm.
Nations. Like, is this a guy that, we may see on the move? And then St. Louis kind of went on a run a bit and with Monty hiring and got in. But I mean, that could be interesting. I think I saw who was the other, Tristan Jarry was
Yep.
one. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be tough for the Oilers. Like, I think Bennington might be
The
our best
contract's the
candidate.
issue though with both of them because they both make more than Skinner does.
Yeah, I
Their
mean,
teams does not have a lot of room.
yeah, it's weird. I don't know because obviously they need a goaltender. I mean, holy crap, if they had a goaltender even 2 or 3 years ago, um, we might be talking about a Stanley Cup victory for the Oilers. They were essentially one goal away,
Yeah.
2 years ago. So it's the difference there, and I think we've all seen it from Bennington. Not really from Jari, but we've seen it from Bennington when it comes down to it.
Yeah. He's a
He's
player.
he's a guy. He's a guy. So that could be interesting. We'll see maybe closer to the deadline. You never know. They free up some room. That like the Mangiapane signing for them. Oof. Oof. Mangiapane might be the worst player on the ice every Oilers game. Just from me watching. Oof, not good. So maybe you trade him, free up some salary. And I think St. Louis could use a little bit of more punch on their depth. So
Yeah.
maybe it works out like that and maybe some
Yep.
other pieces. But
Hmm.
we'll see. Yeah, we'll go on to the next one, back to the East a bit. Brady Tkachuk is back. And I think I remember saying the last episode that I thought he was going to be back later than Matthew. And I think I had that switched around, but it's good to see. Maybe Captain America is back playing. So hopefully he gets hot and looks good coming into the Olympics in a few months' time.
Yeah, no, he's obviously a guy. He's already got his first goal. He scored in Montreal. Um, he's a guy that brings energy. He brings kind of that grit. And obviously, you see your captain doing all that stuff. The Sens, I think, are going to thrive. I think they're going to be an even stronger version of themselves. They already were.
Yeah,
Um, and obviously, with the Olympics, he's a guy that Team USA needs, especially if the ice is
100%.
going to be small. But the case with him, he's he's just an animal. No matter how much you hate the guy when he plays against your team, he's a guy that you would give a blank check to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Kaprizov is making 17 million or whatever next year, I really wouldn't have a problem with giving Brady like 11, you know? I
Yeah,
mean, for what he does, the intangibles and from how he performs in games. I mean, he even looked good in the playoffs last year and Ottawa got punched by the Leafs right out. So, Um, they had their moments, and Brady was obviously a huge part of that. And I'd like to see him just get hot before the Olympics. Look good going in. And same. I hope Matthew comes back. I mean, those are just integral parts to not only the Olympic roster but their own teams. And I mean, they're fun to watch. They're just one of the they got their own podcast going.
yeah,
And I haven't really tuned into it much, but I see some clips and it's he's just one of those players that you hate to see injured. So just happy he's back playing.
yeah. It's I'd be hyped as a Sens fan. I would. assume that they're going to the playoffs. That's just the feeling. You get your captain back, sitting second in the division. I would have that feeling that you're ready to go. Um, and then obviously I just mentioned it briefly, but Olympics coming up.
Oh God. Oh
You know where I'm
God.
going with this.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know exactly where you're
There's been
going.
some interesting news surrounding
Where's
the
Milan
whole
going with this is the question.
exactly. Yeah. Um, News broke. They think the ice is going to be what did you said you saw Emily Kaplan say it was going to be like 3 feet shorter.
Yeah, they originally Frank Saravalli had a clip that I saw where he said Pete DeBoer said the ice was going to be shorter, like a few feet shorter, and then Emily Kaplan, I think today, said that it's like 3 feet shorter.
Yeah, and that's a huge.
How does that happen? I,
Uh, this
that's
it completely
crazy.
changes the game. I think it changes how teams are going to structure themselves. Maybe not roster makeup. Maybe you bring one extra kind
Oh,
of
like
power.
strategies
But
or
yeah, it's so
trap.
much chip and chase hockey.
Oh my
It's going to be a
God.
lot of 1-4 kind of neutral zone
Yeah.
traps.
Oh
It's going
my
to be.
gosh.
It might turn into some hard hitting hockey. I know that last episode we were talking about how is the IHF
Yep.
goal effective, but I think you just throw that argument right out the window. The guys are going to be they're going to have no choice but to run each other.
We're gonna, you know, what we're gonna see is we're gonna see injuries. I mean, look,
Yeah,
people are gonna be like, "What's the difference of like
and it's
three
not going to be
feet?"
anybody's fault.
I
It's
know.
small ice, and
I mean, that
they're just going to be running each other.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, think about it. Like for anybody watching, think about it. If you're a hockey player and you're skating behind the net with the puck, think about how much room, and even if there's a guy on you or not, how much room you have to really turn around and go the other way or stop, turn around, go the other. It's what, max 6 feet, 5 feet. I mean, that's probably going down to close to 3 or 4 feet. And these guys who are 6'5", 6'6", taking a long stride back there. Like think of Colton Parayko, right? Him standing behind the net with the puck on his stick, waiting for a line change or whatever. I mean,
It won't
does he?
fit.
Does he right? Does he have room? I mean, he
He'll
barely
be
does
taking a
already.
wraparound on his own net.
No, I know. So like, I mean, that's a massive difference.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
that's the
huge.
other thing to consider too. Like where is the ice going to be shorter? Like, are they going to keep the
Neutral
distance
zone,
behind the
like,
net? Is the neutral zone going to be smaller? Are they going to shrink the
yeah.
zones? Like,
Oh my gosh. I mean, that's huge. Just getting to like the red line for a dump in,
yeah,
is that going to be easier now? Like you said, dump and chase, chip and chase hockey.
the
I,
guys are going to be shooting from the dots at center ice. It's
right.
insane.
Right. I mean, everything's going to be crazy. And I have a feeling that's not going to be like the only problem with this rink. I feel like the boards and glass are going to go crazy. Like I wouldn't be surprised if we see somebody fire one in and have it rip off a stanchion and go on net. Like
Yeah,
I have a feeling there's going to be way more problems than that.
they're just not prepared for that
Yeah.
level of play.
It's not good. It's very not good. And it sucks, man. I mean, because I don't think they're not gonna go. I think they want to go. It's all about the experience from whether you're a player or whatnot. It's you want to go to the Olympics. It's a thing that you say you did for those guys, and it's a shame, man. We wait so long, and it's like, can we not just have like
Yeah,
it's just a sheet of ice, man. Like, like, come on. It sucks.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you got to imagine there's players on the rosters like if Kantner brings back Brandon Hagel. You're gonna
Yeah.
have Scott Bennett, the Kachucks. Like these guys are probably loving the fact that that's gonna take less effort for them to just blow somebody up behind the net. Like I don't know. It's gonna be an
Oof.
interesting
Yeah.
to watch just because of the size of the ice they're playing on.
Yeah, I wonder how visually, how noticeable it's gonna look. I wonder if we can even tell just from watching the game how quickly like I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I hope to God there's some type of solution to that because what the hell? How does that happen? And two, I mean, the last thing we need is other things that could either cause injury or just the product of the game turns to shit.
Yep. Yeah.
So, Aiden, we know what time it is on the show.
Oh
It
yeah.
is the random player
Let's
segment.
do it.
I will start off this one. I've given you the last two starts, so I will give you the chance to one up me here. But my random player is a legend of the shootout, revolutionary, if you will, and a legend in NHL Hockey Ultimate Team game mode back in the day. And if you were ever playing between, I think, NHL 12 and 15, you probably had this guy on your roster. And my player is Mason Raymond. And he is known for his spinorama shootout goals. Like Grabowski, Malkin, those guys all did it. Stamkos did it too. But I think Mason Raymond might be the cause for that rule that you can't spinorama in the shootout anymore. Just a weapon with speed. One of those guys that was able to get to the NHL simply based off his freaking wheels. Probably one of the fastest players. I wish he was in one of those fastest skater competitions in the All-Star game, but never really a crazy point guy in his career. Had some really good years, probably played a bunch of third line minutes, but I mean, I just loved him because he was just one of those guys in Hockey Ultimate Team that I would use back in the day. Just be a weapon getting up and down the ice. I love it.
Yeah, I remember him on those Vancouver teams. Just I mean,
Yep.
obviously he had some time elsewhere, but I mean him with I think that was prime Alexander Burrows, prime like
Oh yeah.
the Sedins. Those teams were unbelievable, and he was there for it all. Roberto Luongo in his prime, like
Yeah.
that's a
What a
core
team.
memory player watching him on like playoff runs and everything. Like you said, this Spinorama
Yeah,
thanks to
spinner
him.
him.
Yeah, no, that's oh, what a name.
All these guys are so
I
funny.
figured he was still playing. He hasn't played in a couple years. I thought he was
Well,
still playing somewhere.
yeah, I didn't reveal him to you obviously before the show, and but I was like looking at it, I was like, holy crap, he's 40 years old and he retired
Yeah,
like 7 years ago. I was like, damn. I was like, he could have been playing for a while, and
that's
he fell
17,
off.
18 was last season.
And I mean, he went to dude, he played in the Olympic Games with Canada in 2018, like legend. But
Yeah,
it seems like his NHL career just kind of I don't know if it fell off or he wasn't really like if injuries maybe. I don't know. It just seems like it kind of just fizzled out rather quick. It
yeah,
sucks, but I mean, what a name of all time
yeah,
in the
for sure.
NHL.
Yeah.
Yeah, alrighty. Rip yours. What do you got?
All right, we got a guy who probably every Islander fan remembers him just from one specific game. He also played for the Rangers.
Okay.
Um, Fighter, tough guy. He fought two guys in the same play as a member of the Islanders from that famous fight night against Pittsburgh. It
Oh,
is Michael Haley.
anybody who's watching and you haven't seen that, you gotta watch it.
It was the craziest game I've ever seen. You get this Pittsburgh team that's just ready to roll into playoffs. Like I don't even remember what I think the game was in like February or something. So like the Islanders
Yeah.
were dead and gone in the standings by that point. I think the if I remember correct, the is it Mike Lang was
Oh yeah. I think
the play-by player? I forget who it was. That name sounds
that might
somewhat
be
right.
it.
Whoever was doing the color commentary for that game was just appalled that the Islanders were doing this. They were scoring at will. They won the game 9-3 at the Coliseum. There were like
Yeah.
maybe seven guys on each team going into the game. Like it was just madness.
Oh
And the
my God.
play-by-play for Pittsburgh was just ripping the Islanders apart, calling them like bottom feeder teams. Like this is you don't see this is unacceptable. And Michael Haley goes out there, fights someone on one end of the rink, gets
Michael
up,
Haley.
skates all the way to the other end of the rink, fights the goalie, and then gets jumped by some defense. I forget the defenseman, but he basically fought. He actually kind of fought three people in one play. Um, but it was instant fan favorite for the Islanders. I still see jerseys walking around UBS Arena like years, and this was 2000. This was probably like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
And like guy, his jerseys are still around the arena, and I think it's just because of that game.
That's crazy. I mean, what a way to like cement your legacy in like Isles and NHL history. Wow. I mean, that's a name. I remember when he was a freaking Ranger too. I was like, why is this guy playing?
Instant.
Holy crap. Nail gun. What a nail gun too. Look at these penalty minutes. I mean, look where he played
Yeah, he's
too.
just up and down with the Islanders from Bridgeport.
That's crazy.
He was all over the place.
I'm just looking at this. This is like crazy. Damn, wore some A's in the AHL. That's crazy. Wow, good pick. Michael Haley. What a freaking nail gun too.
Fan favorite. Yep.
Alrighty, Aiden. Maybe a little bit of a shorter episode this week, but I think we still hit a bunch of good topics. And yeah, like we mentioned at the beginning, look, we're probably gonna implement some good ideas. We'll get things going, and obviously Aiden and I will brainstorm offline and see what ones we can kind of implement into the show pretty seamlessly. I'm sure all of them are really, really easy to do, but obviously fan participation that will eventually become a huge part of it. But yeah, I'm excited for the direction of the show. It's early, episode 3. We got plenty more hockey and plenty more things to talk about, I'm sure, in the future.
Yes, sir. I'm excited for it. Yeah, let's try to set something up for, I don't know, try to go weekly, try to go every other. I mean, obviously it's a little tough with our schedules as we're trying to nail that down, but
Of course.
no, I'd love to implement these ideas we got.
Absolutely. Alrighty, guys, that is the end of the show. We'll be back obviously next week, but thanks for tuning in to the AM shift. We'll see you soon.